You're watching Leafs Morning Take with host Nick Alberga and former NHLer Jay Rosehill. The show starts now.
Rosie, I forgot what it felt like to watch the 2025-2026 Toronto Maple Leafs. Severe abdominal pain. And what a return of the ice for your Maple Leafs last night. What's going on?
The excitement to get things going again, that didn't last long, did it?
Fuck, man.
But the narrative is still alive because that's their only hard one. Coming out of the gates, they got 5 tap-ins here that's going to decide the future of this team and the direction that management takes it.
They got drilled. They had every reason to probably win that game, and I think what I witnessed is one team that's going to go potentially and try to win a Stanley Cup, and you have a team that should profoundly sell. Like it was night and day between the two teams. It was outclassed in every position. I mean, it was actually wild to watch it unfold. And I was naive to think that the Leafs could stick with Tampa. Like they have owned them in recent memory, but they had zero answer for Braden Point and Kucherov and Radish, and Vasilevsky was dialed in. I wouldn't even call it disappointing. I think for me, it just accepting is probably the word I would use to comprehend and understand this Leafs team is just not good, Rosie. They're not good.
Yeah, it was like confirming, right? I don't know. Like we got goaltending even. We got 2 goals called back and you still get drilled. The inability to like defend and stop the rush, stop the cycle, regain possession it's always like the Leafs are spinning around worried no matter what, whether they have the puck or they don't. They're in the O zone or the D zone. It's like they're always like hoping and worried and gritting their teeth. And other teams are just like calm and confident. I just see that all the time. Like we're just holding on and we're just never in control, it seems like. And we're right back there. Like, again, excited to get going. Like Leafs hockey, 3 weeks, man. Let's get back to this. Let's see what they got. Who's refreshed? What's nice? What's Tavares? Like these guys are back. Goaltenders and everything. And we got goaltending and just drilled. And, no score up until halfway into the game. Getting some saves, out shooting them into the halfway point of the game. And then the cream just rises to the top. It sucks. It needs change. It absolutely needs change. And sometimes a team just needs different. And I don't, I'm not cussing out management for building this team or for doing it this way. I was on board. It's a funny sport that's all about chemistry, and they do not have it right now. They have no chemistry.
Zero structure. Like I think that's a word I would use to like watching the game last night. It reminded my beer league team sometimes where like the other team's just better than you and they're passing the puck around like it's a power play. And that's what it felt like a lot in the second period and third period. And let me just be clear too. It's like I'm not coming on here and ripping this team. I thought they worked their bags off last night. I thought they came ready to play. I thought they were strong on the puck. They were hard. They tried their best to impose their will. But I think they found out quickly how good Tampa is. And you want to talk about teams that are refreshed. Tampa's got to be atop that list, man. Kucherov didn't play in the Olympics. Vasilevsky didn't play in the Olympics. Braden Point had more time to heal. I thought he was unbelievable last night. Gensel looked maybe a bit fatigued, but they got some guns on that roster. And reaffirming is another word I'd bring to the table. But I didn't leave that game being like, man, they didn't give it their all. Like they played hard. They just weren't. They're not as good as Tampa. That's my proclamation today.
Is that worse for you then than if they?
No. Like it's seriously not, because again, we'll get to Keith Pelley's comments coming up later on. He had a letter to the season ticket holders. Like it's one thing to address and look at injuries, but my bigger picture is like the first 25 games of the season. I know it's far away now, but remember those games where it's like it looked like nobody wanted to be there? They're playing with purpose. They have played with purpose for the most part, we'll say, since Mark Savard. I mean, we're just using that as a barometer since the Savard move. So at least the effort's there, which should be the bare minimum because this is the NHL and they get paid to do that. So I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, it's before, when you watched the beginning of the season and then after the Savard move, Christmas time, you're like, oh, there's a good team in there, and I don't know what's worse, showing up and giving it your all and getting filled, or getting filled and being like, you guys, you didn't come together at all. You didn't have the effort. You didn't have the intensity that you needed at all. There's more to give. I don't know what one's worse.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know which one's worse. On the one hand, that's the best you got, and you're still miles away. On the other hand, you got a bunch of guys that don't even fucking try their hardest in the NHL and don't understand how to compete and don't hate to lose and all the rest of the things. I don't know what's worse, but I think that, that is, I'm going to say this narrative is still, okay, that was Tampa. We knew that was our hard one. Now, though, but now we got all these Dusterinos coming up, and we're going to see if we're going to be making a playoff run here. You're not beating good teams. You don't have the structure. You don't have the personnel. You don't have the chemistry. If there's more of that going on, and Craig Berube is no longer going to be the coach after this summer, I think that's a move they're going to 100% make just to invoke some change, even though they may like him and believe in him and not believe he's the problem. That's something that's going to fall, I believe, if there's more of that to watch this season,
It took Austin Matthews half a shift to realize, oh boy, Matthew Boldy's not there. Jake Gensel's on the other team tonight. He was flying early on, but I don't know what he expects to do or what they expect him to do with Bob McMahon and Max Domi. I couldn't believe it took that long to get Matthew Nyes back in the top six, who I thought had a bit of go to his game last night. But the drop-off obviously is very, very severe, and especially from last year to this year, but especially from the Olympics to now, where Matthews looks around and some of the plays he was making in the Olympics, you can't do that anymore. You're not getting that puck back. And I think watching the game last night, I think he learned very, very quickly that was going to be the case.
Yes. I mean, everybody that's on those two hockey teams is going a step down, obviously. But yeah, I mean, Domi and McMahon, to be a good team, Austin Matthews, okay, but your top line isn't Max Domi and Bobby McMahon. They're just not. I like both of them, but you could say one's a suitcase and one was, not relevant in this league until very recently. It's just not. It's not the top tier, top line that you're gonna have. Mm-hmm. And did Lorenz feel like Lorenz had 4 breakaways last night? Willie had 2. Don't bury on anything. Offensively is supposed to be the stack right here on this team, and then you're looking at Matthews playing with those guys, and it's well, how are you going to sustain some serious firepower in this league with that going on? And I'm just curious. I just can't wait to be don't screw this up going down to the deadline. Do you really are you going to put out those letters like he put out and stuff and blame other shit that's not really relevant, and then continue on just shamelessly clawing to get your X amount of $1 million out of a first round exit? What a gross, the last thing we need is, I don't know if it was the Ballard era or what, but where the fans are just intently against MLSE. I do not want to go down that road. That's an ugly place to be. It's toxic. It's negative. I don't want to do that. I hope they don't fuck this trade deadline up. That's all I can say.
Very well said. And we had Sid Sixero on the show yesterday, and I think he hit the nail on the head. They need at least one first round pick in one of these trades. I don't care who it is, but I mean, it's not pendulum changing if Bob McMahon's out the door or Scott Laughton. I think Sid made a great point where it's we're talking about depth pieces, and people are losing their minds about that. But yeah, it's a real frustrating feeling. You sort of out of sight, out of mind. You forget the issues, the flaws with this team, and you have the Olympics and the luxury of having, being able to watch the best players on the planet, and then they come back and you're like, man, I remember the type of year this team was having where they just, nothing went right. Defensively, we'll get to that. It was a mind-numbing night defensively. I get Kucherov is all class, and first world, and so is Braden Point. But dude, they defended like a beer league team last night. I don't know who they expect to beat in this league playing that style, that brand. Like I can't even properly assess Anthony Stolarz' night. And for anybody on social, I wasn't buying that last night. Had a couple people tweet at me because he let the 2 goals in the offside review, so they came back saying he was awful. If Anthony Stolarz didn't play last night, the Leafs lose by like 6 goals. He was a non-factor for me. I thought he was good again.
Yeah, there's so many reasons the score could have been much uglier than it was. You get the pulled back goals. Stoley played well. There was a lot of chances where you're cross icing it, backdooring, and he's making those big saves where you're like, oh God, that's a play that's usually in the back of the net. There's tons of those. They should have had that empty netter. You got an absolute fluke Matthew Nye's goal. You got a gift here, and like it wasn't even close. And you talk about the Kucherovs and that, like they didn't even like blow the doors open and make these plays that are just nobody's defending that, and that's a goal against any team. It's just like, no, you just give them a decent look every goddamn shift. They're going to end up with 3 points, and they're going to fill you over the course of 60 minutes. And they hung on, scratched and clawed for half a game, but it was just like, nothing to really hang your hat on as far as, the Leafs are going to take this one. It was just, again, they're hanging on by their fingernails, hoping, and the other team is on their toes with confidence, like bearing down and just having the puck and having the confidence. And the Leafs just never look like they have the confidence. They always look worried. And it's so fucking annoying to watch because I'm just like, if we win this game, it's going to be because we got a whole bunch of luck. Like, that's just not how you need to be as a premier hockey team. And again, it's just all about this deadline. You have, like, are they still have a chance to be a good team? I think so. I mean, their goaltending can be top of the league. It can be. They just proved that last season. Stoley can be great and Woll can be great. You have Austin Matthews. You have Nylander. You have some pieces around them that can be good. Like the chemistry shit, the systems shit. They're just not where they need to be. But if you want to call it a team that has the potential to win, you need to strike right now and take the opportunity where this season has gone to hell, and you need to replenish some assets. Like, just end of story. You can't give up. Well, who can you give up? Like, it's not secretive. It's like everyone else can watch your games. You can only get something back for someone who has some value. And Bobby McMann, he doesn't make any money. He's fast. He's got a good shot. He can be a nice depth piece for a team that's ready to win, and he does not break the bank by any stretch of the imagination. It's a great opportunity. We can't get rid of Bobby. Why can't you get rid of Bobby McMann? Teams are unloading fucking Stamkos and Marchand and these other guys, like, make business decisions. It's a business. You're going to be married to Bobby McMann. Like, so what are you going to do then? You're just going to bang your head against the wall and go, try again? Like, not good enough in this market. And OEL too. Like, he looked awful last night. He's up in his 30s. He's having this one weird season where I can't believe he's doing that. It looks like when he's 23 years old. If you can get a first and a second for him, you have to mash that button and figure the rest of the shit out afterwards. Maybe you're not good for another season. I don't know, man. But, like, you can't just keep doing this. We keep just hanging on by a thread with all these obvious holes and complete just weaknesses all over the place, and just saying, well, maybe, like, sometimes you got to rip the Band-Aid off and do the thing that you might not want to do. And again, going back to yesterday, this organization that's worth more than anybody is just so reluctant to, like, take a hiccup on the quarter and do the thing that needs to be done in order to have some long-term success. It's just the short-sightedness pisses me off. And if they fuck this deadline up, the whole bunch of the market's going to turn on them.
The truth is that they're a middling team, and this is what they are. So they very well likely, maybe, who knows, come out and beat the Florida Panthers. Like, they're a middling team. That's what they are. And to your point about McMahon and Lawton specifically, they want to be Maple Leafs so bad. Circle back on July 1. Trade these guys. Come back. We'll have you back. All right? I think we're at a point where you need to get assets for the future, not only the summer, into next year and beyond. And so if these guys, like the media is building up, are saying they truly love being Toronto Maple Leafs, go out and be a rental somewhere, go try to win a Stanley Cup and come back on July 1. That's my answer.
Why
right
not?
there. Yeah.
I mean, I don't hate it. You can keep your apartment here. You go to a new city, have an experience, meet some new guys, see what it's like to play for a different organization. It's just all experience. I know guys have wives and families, and that's fine though. I've done it. Yeah, you pack a bag and you get the shit you need, and you go and you get a suite somewhere that's nice around a bunch of activities and a bunch of things, and you live in a new city for a couple of months. You have a chance to win a goddamn Stanley Cup with the team who really wants you, and then you get to test the market and see what's available, see how much money you can make. It's kind of win-win, and it's easier said than done, but like, why not lots? Grab your young family and go to somewhere neat for a couple of months, see if you can win a cup, and then go back to Toronto and do free agency and see what you're worth, see what you can get. It's always nice to test the market. And you can 100% come back and be a Maple Leaf if that's what you want. And then just that roll of the dice of, fuck, I can go to a contender and maybe win a cup. Like, how often do you get to just kind of do that? I love that idea. I don't know if everyone's on the same page as me with the idea, but if I was still playing and I was at that level, I would be like, man, that's a pretty good option. You get to check a lot of boxes, chance to win, test your value in the market, have options in the summer. And what's the skin off your back? You go and have a neat experience of being a rental somewhere.
Yeah, how about a nice vacation in Tampa Bay or Colorado or somewhere of that ilk where the team's a perennial contender? I there's a reason why I didn't say Carolina. I don't know if it's a destination. They're in on everybody, by the way. Our Super Chat charity partner is Sick Kids. Want to make sure that your question or comment gets on the show. Hit us up with a Super Chat. Proceeds from our Super Chat will go to Sick Kids, ranked the #1 research-intensive children's hospital in Canada and 3rd in the world. We got a couple Super Chats to get to via our guy MRush89 writes in, my take since early December, AM's very nice, talented Team USA compliments aside. Of 68 playoff games over 10 years, he had 3 to 4 dominant outings and none were Game 7. He was as bad as Mitch in those games, to be honest. He goes on to add, with a weak UFA class is moving everyone else to build around 34 Ys. He's Gino and needs a Sid. We aren't finding that, so move him for a haul and get ahead of the inevitable if we want cups. A lot to unpack from there, Rosie.
It's tearing it down to the studs and moving on from superstars. It's just such a Leafy thing, right?
Yeah.
To have these stars that, again, I just keep coming back to the pressure of the market, and that's not media or anyone's fault or finger pointing, but when push comes to shove, when the lights get bright with that sweater on, not a lot of guys rise to the occasion. Like, how many of those examples are there where it's like, this guy's got talent coming out of his ears, but when we need you, like when you need to close a series out and shut the door, no, you let them back in and it's an epic collapse. And when you scratch your way back to a game 6 or 7 and we need you there and it's kind of do or die and it's like cream rise to the top here, it's just always never to be found. And fucking frustrating, man. And whatever, not to go around in circles, but if they keep filling their pants here like they did last night, there's going to be a lot of it's going to be sell, but how hard are we selling here, and how much of a tweak and a retool, or are we talking rebuild here? And I'm not there. I want to retool. I want to get some assets. I want to change some things up, even for the sake of change, because sometimes like a team looks really good on paper. Go back to the before the salary cap era, where teams were putting names on paper where it's like, God damn, that's a good team, and they're horse shit. And then sometimes it's like, wow, no one had these guys on their bingo card and they're buzzing. It's a game that is a team sport. Has to have a whole bunch of components working together. It's a lot of chemistry that's relied on, and sometimes you just need to shake some things up. So I'm okay with a retool. And let's be honest, they very well may just sing the song for MLSE and be like, and we have no fucking chance of making playoffs just by simply losing 3 in a row out of the gates, and then it's game over. Like, what do you think they're going to do now? It's not magic. This team's not good.
Rayhan Sensei super chat. I owe you an apology. McKinnon is amazing and surreal. I don't even remember when he shit talked McKinnon. So yeah, we know he's pretty damn good at hockey. Is Nathan McKinnon.
Didn't play last night, eh?
Yeah, it's break time. He's going to the playoffs. He's got bigger fish to fry. They got Minnesota tonight too. That's going to be a marquee matchup on the slate. Minnesota, Colorado tonight.
I think he's conkied, man. Like, he is not himself. He didn't play. He's fuckered. That was not Nathan McKinnon that we watched in those last couple of games, man. He seemed like he was like conkied. Like his brain wasn't working well. He wasn't himself. And he got bounced in the head quite a few times. But he was doing things like, something came up on my phone. It was kind of like a highlight reel of him scoring. I'm like, oh my God, like you are a phenom. Like, you are gross at what you do. And then you think it, like in the Olympics, some of the like 5-on-3 takes a clapper from the top of the circle and wraps the glass. That empty netter obviously will be talked about forever. Overtime coming right, like the puck. It was like my U13 team, like the puck's rolling to you and they just kind of like look at it and wait for it to come right on their stick. And then all of a sudden it's a puck battle. I'm like, fucking take it. It's there. And that was McKinnon. And then he like second guessed himself, was like, do I got, and he kind of backed. I was like, whoa, that is not you, dude. And then he doesn't play.
That's a good point.
Coming back. We'll see if he's in today.
I was reading. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say Exto in the chat was saying the puking on the bench. Fuck,
these
man.
mics.
Goddamn delay. Yeah. Go ahead.
I just saying if he plays tonight, it'll say more. But I was thinking after those Olympics, like, dude, I think he squeaked into that game and probably shouldn't have, and in other circumstances never would have. He wasn't himself, and then it just only made me lean towards that more based on the fact that he misses the first game back, which I think's nuts. That all these guys are missing their game back. Like, you get paid $10+ million to play for your hockey team, and then it's like you leave for 3 weeks, mash all this schedule together, and then come back and being like, a little tired here, don't think I'm gonna work today. Like, fuck, imagine being an owner. They're being pretty patient with this shit, if you ask me.
Yeah, I was just adding like a bunch of people in the chat bringing up the point. I don't know if you saw it in one of the games. He was puking on the bench, like the signs point, like. Yeah, and then there was like the whole report from the insiders yesterday. A bunch of players came back that are hurt or were hurt, and you wonder how many guys just said, you know what, I'm fine, don't worry about it. And the staff, they're like, okay, go out there.
Well, you can do that, man. It's not hard. I mean, at the end of the day, you have the last word on how your body feels, and especially when it's like depending on what the injury is, but a head injury, it's just such a nobody knows. You can't take an x-ray. You can't, there's nothing you can do, whether you're on the staff or the doctors or the medical side of it or the player, that can confirm either way. It's just about what the guy says and what the guy is feeling. So if you want, I mean, there's fucking, you know how many times guys, you know, who were maybe in my position or situation, or like were on the bubble or wanted to stay in the lineup or needed a contract or didn't want to get sent down or needed to make the team, who are just like, I'll say what I need to say to get out there. And what's a trainer going to do? Handcuff you to the fucking, like, it's not, you can play if you want to play. And in the Olympics, guys are playing through some shit and I respect it. But you're starting to see the, you know, what the toll of this season and that tournament kind of takes on some guys as the news starts rolling in, like you say.
At the Leafs Nation 401, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Leafs Morning Take, wherever you find your podcast. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review. Don't forget to visit theleafsnation.com. This segment is brought to you by Table Fare and Social, the perfect spot to fuel up before the game or wind down after work. Located right across the street from the arena and just steps from Union Station and the Metrolinx bus terminal, Table Fare and Social offers a wide selection of food and drinks with space for large groups and a family-friendly atmosphere. Next time you're off to a game, check out Table Fare and Social, a downtown food hall right across the arena, for some great pregame bites and drinks. Since we're on it, I know I said yesterday I wouldn't tackle it anymore. I didn't want to tackle it anymore. Did you see that Toronto Star article title last night? So I had to interject, and I felt a need to defend the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs. As somebody who has been hard and harsh on Austin Matthews for the way he plays sometimes, I've got no time for shit like this. The headline reading this article via Damien Cox, by the way, of the Toronto Star: Austin Matthews made his choice, seemingly putting the party and the president ahead of the playoffs. Like, what a joke.
What a dork. What a loser. Like, what? Take your politics, stick them up your ass. We're here to talk hockey. The part, like, I get the Americans. What do you think has happened over the course of history when, for men of that age, when they do something special, they go and have some beers? Do the Americans do it a little bit heavier? Yeah. Does it matter if there's a cigar in their mouth or if they're at a bar on their own or a bar full of people? You're going to go have a little celebration. You shake the president's hand because it doesn't matter if it's Democrat or Republican. It's an experience and something that not everyone gets to do. And then what was the problem with what Austin did? Like, what a stupid political, okay, we all know you're a liberal. Okay, that's okay. Who cares? Don't take it into your fucking writing. Don't take it into your job. Don't take it into sports. You're just doing that because you don't like Trump. And I don't give a shit what you think about Trump. I don't like Trump a lot of the time. I don't care about that. We're not talking about that. Going to the White House and shaking the hand as the captain of Team America and then going home and playing that game where he played fine. And then you got to write an article about me. He didn't do the thing where so I shake my fist now. I just hate that side of things. And yeah, I didn't even know about this. And of course it fired me up. Like, what a stupid goddamn title and article to write. And I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, I usually steer clear of this stuff. Like, social media is not real life. Twitter is not real life. But I felt like the need to defend the captain of the Leafs, because I think it's one thing to say, hey, he hasn't played well, or where's this guy been, and this and that. But it's another to like question something as idiotic and stupid as that. Like, I don't understand what the thinking was, the mentality was, even putting that article out. Never mind the title. Like, I mean, Cox might not have titled it. I mean, maybe there's an editor there who put out that title, but this is a reputable institution. This is the Toronto Star. And then people wonder why guys don't want to stay in this country, in this city specifically, when you see shit like that. Like, I think if you're to poll some guys, most guys that I've talked to, you've played in this league, they're really fair when you talk to them. Hey, as long as you're fair with the way you cover me, if I'm playing shit, say I'm playing shit. They got no issue with that. I think it's stuff like this that pisses people off, man.
Well, I mean, and like you say, you've been hard on Austin Matthews. I have too. I have been hard on him just in his ability to get the team on track, to get them through big moments, to rise to the occasion, to be the best player on the ice when it matters. I've been critical of him on that stuff, and I still might be in the future, depending on what he does for the Maple Leafs. But one thing you can say is the guy handles himself with class. He is well liked by his teammates. He does things the right way as far as, you know, he commits to defense. He's not floating out there. He, you know, I wish he would do, I'm not saying he's this perfect player, but his goal scoring aside and his trophies and stuff and personal accolades aside, how do you knock the guy's like character? Or how do you, I have before, I'm just saying, what a stupid thing to knock the guy for. He just won a gold medal.
Agreed.
He goes and parties with the boys, once in a lifetime thing, gets an invitation to the White House, shakes the hand and gets home, and gets ready for the season to start again and plays, and could easily have taken it off. Like, I haven't read the article, so I'm going to go do that. But, what, you didn't throw the middle fingers up to Trump and then, yeah, rah, rah, look how strong. Like, fucking shut up. No one, I just hate it when that stuff comes into sports. I come to sports to get away from that stuff. And Austin Matthews, there's nothing about the way he's handled himself in the Olympics that you can point your finger at or criticize. So I just don't have time for that. I criticize him for certain things, but there's nothing there. There's nothing there. There's nothing that the captain of the Team USA that just won the gold medal did wrong with his post-Olympic activities.
Stupidity. Well said. At the Leafs Nation 401, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. So still 6 points out of a playoff spot, 24 games left. They got the back-to-back in Sunrise tonight. Dude, I was laughing. Matthew Nyes, he knew the agenda. He knew what he had to do, man. A goal and an assist in the last 4 minutes. Now up to 11 goals, 7 assists, 18 points in 11 career games against Tampa. So we covered that at least.
Oh, man. I even thought I even thought the Leafs would be able, just with their track record against Tampa and everything being up in the air and getting some healthy guys back, which we probably haven't had in a little while, and believed in our goaltending. I do believe in our goaltending, thought we'd get good goaltending, and mash them to win, even though they're heavy underdogs. And I took Nyes for anytime goal, anytime point, and over 1.5 shots. And I was like, oh man, I might get dinged here tonight. And then he throws a dump in from inside the blue line and goes through Vasilevsky of all guys, and I just made it. So good chuckle there. I don't know, sometimes when you got the luck against a team, you got it, but God, not much to speak of in that game, man.
What was your read on, I know it's random, but Jake Gensel hitting that post? My read was that I think he knew it was offside, so it threw him off. Because if you see the Leafs, the way they responded, I think that play was coming back anyways. But you can't call it shades of Patrick Stefan, because Alex Hemsky came back and scored and I think tied that game. This game was over. But it was pretty embarrassing to see that.
It was odd. And then to like have the rebound off the post come right to him, and he kind of blows a wheel there. Like these guys are, oh shit. Oh God. I mean, it's the only thing you can compare it to is that who was it? Not Robida Island. Who was that with the Hemsky and whatnot? The Dallas Oilers. Patrick Stefan. Yeah. That's absolutely incredible. The only thing that, because they didn't come back and actually win the game, did they? They lost in overtime at the end of the day. But that's unbelievable, that play. Yeah, I don't know what happened, man. A wide open net, guy like him, I don't know. If Nathan McKinnon can miss that net, I guess anyone can. But I had a chuckle there, especially at trying to reach for it, like surprised that you didn't make it and then blow a wheel and end up behind the net is kind of a bloop, one for the blooper reels. But at the end of the day, the game was far out of reach anyways. And even though the weird shit happened right after, the Leafs still had no chance.
The only positive I would grab is that the Leafs video staff is on fire since 2022. That's 20 straight offside challenges they've won, including 2 for 2 last night. But that's why you look at the score, it was flattering, man. Tampa scored 2 goals in the first period, and we all know 2-0 after 1. You know, your guess is as good as mine. What Leafs team shows up for the second period?
Oh yeah. Yeah, those offside challenges, man. It's good they get them right. It kind of kills the momentum of the game and is kind of but it's better to get it right than not. It doesn't take too long. Leafs are really good at those challenges. I think that's Brad in the control room there still, who does a damn good job. But yeah, I mean, when 2 get pulled back, whether Kucherov's skate is a half inch off or not, at the end of the day, it was a breakdown and it was a play that ended up in the back of your net. The Leafs just weren't anywhere near this game. They got filled. I thought they might, just with their track record after them, but like the cycle, the D zone, the chances and the peppering, they're spinning around with their heads off, like they don't understand their position. I starting to understand people being like, you know, Berube has no system that's conducive to winning. It's also the personnel. Blaming anything on injuries this year, I don't. It doesn't sit well with me. That's not it. It's not like you have this championship caliber team in there, and just the depletion of injuries is this the gleaming factor on why the season's gone this way. It's not. It just sucks. It's ugly to watch. Again, the wind out of the sails of let's go Leafs hockey again. Haven't excited to get back on this train. The wind out of those sails was gone in a hurry last night.
Yeah, it was. Why don't we get into that then? Keith Pelley's letter to the season ticket holders. We finally hear from this guy. I don't know where he's been for 4 months, 5 months, and you're not going to hear much from presidents usually. But there's a letter that comes out from, I guess TSN surfaced this out there yesterday. Keith Pelley sends an email to season ticket holders like, hey, we're going to charge you more money. This is the reason why you should come back next year and eat our great caviar and sushi. But I think the polarizing line for me was as follows. Pelley writing, the 2025-26 season for the Maple Leafs so far has been a series of ups and downs, and unfortunately with a number of key injuries that affected the team, we are not currently in the position we had anticipated. But that is professional sports. You buying that, Rosie? Because last time I checked, the first 25 fucking games of the year, I know some guys were dinged up. I know Joe Wall was nowhere to be found. I watched a team that wanted to be anywhere but a hockey rink.
Yeah, it stands out like a bit of a sore thumb. It looks like an excuse. It's just like Pelley ran a golf league last year, and now he's the mastermind of hockey. I just don't think, as far as, you just wonder who's that's where you start to understand the Shanahan and the, that middle ground role from a Keith Pelley to a Tree Living, to have a middleman. I kind of understand that, because you need to have kind of that buffer between business and the game and hockey. It seems like it's not there now. Is Pelley gonna decide what the team needs as far as defense wasn't good enough, or are they just hey, come up with a strategy and we'll okay it, kind of a thing? You wonder, and where Pelley's allegiances lie, and they're with the bottom dollar. And it sucks, because the team has so much money, and they print money no matter what happens, and they say they're absolutely committed to bringing a championship, where in a perfect world, that's all that matters. Spend the money, do the rebuild, whatever it takes. But their actions aren't really that way. They don't want to lose the money by missing the playoffs. I think they still are hoping maybe they can find a way to sneak in, because it's the dollars and cents of it all, where the hockey people are watching going, whoa, no, this ain't happening. We need to take advantage of this shitty situation to the best of our ability in order to help the team. And that is selling off some assets in order to recoup and restock the cupboards a little bit, because they are depleted, and they are depleted because of the trades they made going for it last year and years before. So I don't know what the hell that thing means. A little bit of an excuse in there for sure is what stands out to me, and it's not the one that everyone in the hockey world seems to think is the problem.
That's my big question, is who has final sign off? Let's say the Leafs get an offer for Bobby McMahon they think is enticing. Is it Pelley being yeah, go ahead and do it? I hope not. I really, really hope not. I think you have to trust your guys. You have to trust the people in place, right? And I think Brad Tree Living, hopefully, is the final say on a decision like that. It should be, at least.
I know, and you always wonder what those relationships are like, because, I think communication would be so huge in that role. Is Tree not sure if he's going to get fired here? Or is it, hey, you're our guy. This was a one-off. We want you to still have the reins through this summer. We might make some changes here, but you're our guy. We're thinking long-term here. We were on board with the moves that you made, and your job is safe, so let's just think long-term. And if you have a guy that's in your corner like that, you can make the right decisions. But if it's all of a sudden every man for himself, and holy shit, I got to find a way to sneak into the playoffs here, and I can't do what's best for the team in 2 years, or I won't even be here to enjoy it. If there's that lack of communication where that attitude starts to come up, all of a sudden it's not where you want to be. So you wonder, at the end of the day, we're not going to know. We don't know. We're not part of those conversations. We're not privy to it. But when little pieces like this squirt out, you're they like to be vague. And he even says, sorry to be vague, but it's part of the competitive advantage. I would like a little bit more detail than due to numerous injuries, we aren't where we wanted to be. I have some questions about that, and fine, you can blame that to a degree. Every team can during this season. But what I want to know is, what are you going to do about it? What is your plan? Give me the next 2 years, what you see out of this organization, and they seem reluctant to do that.
I see delusion across the board. I still couldn't believe my mind. We talked all Olympic break that the wording coming off the Olympic break, because they had won 3 games, is maybe we can get into the Stanley Cup playoffs, and maybe we're not sold on being sellers. There is severe delusion with this organization right now, and I just can't believe where they were a year ago to now. And I feel I think we're scratching the surface of how nasty this can get with this franchise, this team, in terms of how shit they are on the ice. with that in mind, like to your point, they have to make the right decisions on like who's going to lead this franchise, who's going to make the decisions on trades, signings, because this is a crucial moment. Like the next 6 months are going to determine a lot of the trajectory where this team is headed. Like you could be Boston, or you could be the contrary, where you just continue to free fall and you're in big time trouble.
Yeah, like I'm just looking at like, what do you think like of the bones of the team, like the core bones of the team? And, you know, you had a Nick Waugh, you had a Michelli, you have Dakota Joshua. Are those guys just not like, can you mix up those types of guys and have anything different as far as just finding the chem? Say you move on from Berube, and then all of a sudden you get 3, 4, or 5 new pieces in the offseason or through the trade deadline, draft a stud D-man, and all of a sudden things are looking a little better. Is it that type of retool, or do you have bigger concerns? I mean, I think we have goaltending. If it's not perfect, they're not healthy very often. I don't think the personal stuff with Joseph Woll will be happening anymore. Stoley's good when he's healthy. You know, you got Matthews, you got Nylander, like Nyes, and there's some pieces that should be decent around there. It's just not adding up to fuck all. And I mean, a lot of people point to Craig Berube for that. And I think as this season comes to a close, that'll probably be an argument that holds some water. And I've been the way they played the beginning of the year, I was like, this is not a coaching fucking problem. This is a personnel, character, leadership problem. But you see a game last night where it looks like the effort's there, but they just don't know what they're doing, and no one's on the same page, and they don't seem to have a plan. You know, that would lead to, well, you need someone to instill a plan. So I don't know. Are those tweaks going to be enough? I think that's the only way to go. That's the only way to go here.
I point to a couple things, among others. I mean, I think this roster is severely flawed, and admittedly, going into the year, I liked what they did last summer. I thought they were right on the precipice of going to the playoffs and doing something substantial. I was wrong. You got to reimagine this blue line first and foremost. They need guys who can move the puck. Like, it's one thing to be like, okay, we're going to be more physical, we're going to play that brand. And granted, I do think it brings success in the playoffs, but you need to find guys who are big but can move the puck. Like that's a big issue, number one. Number two, even watching last night, this team is so slow. And some of the best teams on the planet, man, they move and they hit you with pace, and you have no time to react. I think the Leafs are predictable because they're so slow. Like they have no speed. There's a couple guys who can fly on that team, and the rest they're just looking to grind and muck. And I think this team got caught chasing something when we've moved on in sort of the next realm of the NHL, if that makes sense. And so those are the two things I'd point at, because how long have we talked about changing some of the depth pieces? I don't want to get into that conversation today, but I will just add, I am open to anything. I am open to anything, because if you tick the boxes, man, of the last 5 to 6 years, what they've tried to do to differ this team, nothing seems to have worked. And what's been the constant? Same guys, the same star players. That's all I'm going to add on that.
I know, and I'm not ready to have that huge conversation today. It's crossed my mind. I'm thinking, you need some D back there. You need a stud D. You need to be better. You need to be bolstered. You need a 1-2 setup on defensemen. Morgan Rielly is a boat anchor right there. You need to move on from him. Like, they're talking, they need to see what they're going to do in the offseason and whether they're going to continue with, like, you can't. He is a detriment to your team. You need to do whatever it takes, including buying him out in the offseason, if you ask me. He can't be on the roster next season. That's my opinion. You just moved Fraser Minton, one of your top 2 prospects, and a first. So for a D-man, because everyone knows you need a stud D-man, you get Brandon Carlo, and he doesn't seem to invoke any change on the back end. Like, I'm worried we're fucked. Who are these D-men going to be? The only way you can maybe get that, in my mind, is to bite the bullet get a first rounder and draft a stud D-man and give him 2 to 3 years to be on your roster and become a guy that can invoke some change. You just tried to go out and buy one at the deadline. It blew up in your face. Who's even available in free agency? Like, even the guys that are available aren't going to do that job for you. And if you want to take a swing at them, you're probably going to overpay them. Then you're going in circles with these big contracts that aren't worthwhile, and what you get. It's fucking nightmare, man. And I really think that you need to take what you have in the Bobby McMahons and stuff. It doesn't happen all the time. Bobby McMahon in a different situation isn't worth what he is, but for his cap hit and what he can bring, and for what guys need to get over the finish line in the playoffs, he could be a nice piece for someone's like, we're winning now. Yeah, we can give a first rounder. Like teams do in that situation. You need to try to explore the ever living hell of that. And I hope Tree is right frigging now looking at all those options. And I think OEL should be included in that too. I understand that he's the one guy that gives you, a decent look back there right now. I understand that. And I understand people are going to go, you want to get rid of OEL? He's the only guy that's playing well on the back end. And you're talking about having a good back end. I just have this strong suspicion that we're going to get into next season and stick with him. And it's going to be like, oh my God, he's really showing his age. That was a one-off. Now we're stuck with you don't get a chance to get first rounders and stuff all that often, and you've already shot yourself in the foot a few times getting rid of them. Like, I don't think this team can be good in the next X amount of years if you don't get some of those assets back in the form of draft picks.
Of course, it takes two to tango. Like, we're just speculating. We have no clue what's out there, what teams are willing to move for some of these Maple Leafs assets. But I honestly feel like there's not really one team outside of like a Calgary and Vancouver that have come out and profoundly said we're sellers. Like, I think the Leafs have the ability to not control this deadline, but be a major selling team at this deadline with assets out the yin yang to help other teams win now, as opposed to like down the road if you're the Maple Leafs. Like, I think there's a way to navigate this, and I think they have to be a bit creative. Rayhan writes in with this super chat in support of Sick Kids. What can we trade for Makar so the Avs will listen? That's a big story coming up this summer. Makar is going to be a year away from UFA. Start with Matthews or Nylander in that conversation. I still think Colorado's like, no, thank you.
For sure they are.
Yeah.
A guy with that pedigree, they're not moving on.
Maybe you trade Domi and Joshua in a first. Will that work?
Yeah, that'll get you one of the greatest D-men ever. I don't know. His stock took a little bit of a hit in the Olympics, so I just want to know what he's going to get paid next. Like, what do you pay a franchise defenseman like him, who just controls the play and has talent and confidence and ability like basically no one else almost in the entire league? Talking now all of a sudden about like history. What do you pay that guy on the back end? Is it $15 million? Like, it's getting kind of nuts, man. But they aren't moving on from Cale Makar. Those guys don't come up all the time. And yeah, you can also draft one and they don't turn out. Defense is the hardest position to play in hockey, and I have played them all at the pro level besides goaltender. We're not talking about goalies. Yeah, defense is the hardest, center's next, and then winger is a lot. Like, the difference between developing a player to be a right winger and developing a player to be a defenseman is not even close. There is so many reads and so much experience and so many, like, the same play never happens twice for a D-man. It's all reads, it's all anticipation, it's all hockey IQ. It's very difficult, and you can draft a stud D who looks good in the O or whatever. It doesn't mean he's going to keep getting better. And those guys don't even hit their stride in their prime until like 27 years old. I think all signs point to that's when you kind of figure the position out and you're in your prime. It's crazy, man. It's hard to get those D-men. Everyone wants them. I don't know how the fuck. It just, their D look like shit, and they're aging, and there's just a lot going against them, man.
I'm laughing in the chat. Harris writes in, Rosie was the Ohtani of hockey.
Yeah,
he exactly.
It wasn't exactly because I was so good at everything. It was like, all right, I got to move this guy somewhere else. But I lived it, and I know it, and I respect that position greatly. It is it's considerably more difficult playing D at any level than it is playing on the wing.
Jay Otani, that's what I'm going to address you moving forward. So they got the Panthers tonight. They've actually played well against Florida this year. Granted, the Panthers, when playing them, have been banged up. Guys have been missing, but they're 2-0-0. Outscored them 8-2. I'm going to lose my shit if Easton Cowan's not playing hockey tonight. January 29th was the last time this kid played. You get him in the lineup. There's no more showcase. I don't know what's happening. There's no more showcasing for Calle Yarncroke, okay? If teams don't know what this guy is by now, then these people running these teams shouldn't be in those jobs. Like, I don't think anybody else needs to see anything more from Calle Yarncroke, okay?
I know. I always kind of laughed at that. Like, they're showing him. It's like, haven't they, like, don't they know what this guy is? Don't they, like, can't they he's been in the league for X amount of years. Don't they know what the guy is? It's like, you're going to go watch him for 2 games and then make a decision of like, oh yeah, we want him or not interested. It's just weird. Like, you can fucking, I always kind of shook my head going, that's interesting. I feel like there's decisions can be made already without doing that. All you're getting with Calle Yarncroke is experience in my mind. He's capable of playing in the league. You can plug him in right there. He's not a difference maker. He's not getting any team over the finish line or over the hump. What are you going to get for Calle Yarncroke? A 5th rounder? Like, go back and show me the last 2 years, the 5th rounders who have turned into anything. Like, it's kind of irrelevant. I would like to see Cowan in there a little bit more as well. I assume that's why Calle Yarncroke's playing over top of him, is to get him playing, get scouts and people looking at him, and maybe, I don't fucking know, man. Weird, but we're talking about Calle Yarncroke right now. So, like, where is this team at? I would like to see Cowan playing. I think development, confidence, and experience and reps is only going to benefit that kid.
Xtho799 writes, Yarncroke from a car. I think we're on to something with that trade offer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You just wonder what actually comes across. Like, how did that Carlo trade get to Minton, and then, like, not a 3rd rounder, no, second rounder won't get that, a 1st rounder? Or how was it 1st rounder and this guy won't do, no, that guy won't, Fraser Minton, like, okay, I'll throw him into, like, the desperation that Boston smelled there and dug their heels in, or maybe there's a lot of people shopping for him, and it's just, you felt like this is the year, this is the team. They damn near beat Florida. They obviously believed in them and needed that D-man, took a swing, and there was a reason they were moving on from Carlo with their retool, right? And fuck, did they get a haul for it. I would just love to win a trade like that in Toronto. I would love to feel like you fleeced a team for once in our lives. It feels like we always get the desperation move. It's not just tree living. Desperation moves, just trying to get over the hump with the excitement of, like, what could be if you got the final piece of the puzzle for a roster. I feel like that was that move there, and Scotty Lots too, man. The 1st rounders are pretty hard to come by. We don't have many of them. There's nothing coming down the barrel. Like Danforth, is he going to be like, is he going to be in the conversation anytime soon, do you think? Again, defense is very difficult and it's hard, and I don't know how you bolster your back end. I don't know how you bolster your back end. Can you do it through free agency? Can you make a trade in the summer? You're going to have cap space. You have that to work with, but you need some assets to move around to be enticing. And there's only one way to do that, and that's not fucking hold on for the playoffs this year.
Yeah, and I think the one thing they do have is cap space. Like, maybe you find a team that, for one reason or another, wants to move off a salary. Like, the name that comes up for me is Brandon Montour. Maybe Seattle. Maybe you call them. You're like, hey, we'd be interested in a Montour. He's got the pedigree. I know he's a bit older, but still a guy you could move. He could skate. He could run your power play. Like, that's the way they have to think creatively. I think if they're going to acquire guys who can move the puck, who fill some needs in the back end. But again, to the point earlier on, I think you have to reimagine how that blue line looks. Like, I'd keep some of those guys, but I think the Riley decision will be crucial. What they do with OEL, like, I love the guy, but maximizing the value and a potential return there, you'd be dumb not to think about that and really contemplate that ahead of either March 6th or the draft coming up in Buffalo in June. Like, they've got some decisions to make, but I think the one thing I've realized in short order is just the blue line just, they're so passe, man. They're like 2019 blue line where it's 2026, and you need guys that are physical and big but can move the puck. They're just so slow. Like watching the game last night, just Tampa skating circles about the blue line, and yeah, they have a physical play, but then they can't reach the guy. They can't skate after him. They can't pick a stick. Like it was a tough watch last night, and I think a real barometer tester for where this team's at. Tampa coming off the break with the star power they have, and to think maybe even a year ago, Tampa and Toronto were on par with each other, and just the fall off, I should say, has been drastic with this team.
You know what else is leafy is just being roadblocked in that division by this monster team, the Florida Panthers. And then so doing what you can or need to do to be like, oh, it's a copycat league, right? That's the formula. Yep. That's how you win in this league still. So getting to that point, and then as you make that move, the Florida Panthers are just garbage at the bottom of the division. And that doesn't work anymore. Like you even said at the beginning of the earlier in the show, like, what did you say? It doesn't work that way anymore, or that style has moved on. Like I can't think that the Florida Panthers style of play is now out of style or doesn't work. It was quite recent. They were dominant, but the older, slower D-man that bang and crash. I mean, you need a good mix of everything. Like I don't mind the bang and crash, but like you said, there's no one to grab that puck and just fly out of the zone and to move it and to make that crisp pass and to not allow the forecheck to get to them and to not turn the puck over and to be smarter than everyone in that D zone to elude them and move the puck out, fashionably, where you're then all of a sudden entering their zone with speed. It just doesn't happen. And yeah, I don't know, man. I'm spinning my fucking wheels here, just meandering and thinking as I'm talking about this team, but there's not a lot of positives really, right? Like there's holes throughout the whole thing. And last night, like you say, you get there, everyone's kind of healthy and all right, let's rock and roll here. Refresh. Let's have a refreshing feeling. And it was just like this glaring exclamation point of this team's not there, not really even close by the looks of it.
Yeah, they're a middling team. They're in the middle. And that's the worst position to be in hockey. It's time now for the last call, brought to you by Bet365. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in on the game. Use code NATION. That's NATION, N-A-T-I-O-N. Must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, visit connexontario.ca. So they got the Panthers. I'll be honest, I care more about what Brad Marchand's going to say about this team than the actual game tonight. We all know by now Brad Marchand is pretty much the president of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I hope down the road when he retires in 4 years or when he's 45 years old or whatever it is and his contract concludes, if he joins the Maple Leafs organization and sticks to his guns, the team he grew up watching and loved and all this fluff that he's been putting out there for years, just want to know how he feels about this team. Do you think Brad Marchand thinks the Leafs are done?
I'm sure he does. He doesn't look like the guy that he did. Like he's got to be banged up or something, but it would be leafy for us to get Marchand in the offseason and then he's just a shell of himself in a Leafs jersey. Maybe we dodged one there. That hurt my guts hard that we couldn't get Marchand when I thought there was a chance that we did, that we could in the offseason. Nonetheless, we're doing a betting segment. I don't know, man. Leafs heavy underdogs. I like plus money, but there's nothing to say they're going to do anything. The old wounds and the old horrors against that team are probably going to show up. Joseph Wall in there. I hope he looks good like Stoli did yesterday. Obviously, a real good goaltending performance isn't going to get you to the promised land. I'll just take the over 6.5 plus money. Take the over 6.5. Think someone's going to do some scoring and someone's going to get filled in here. And I obviously hope it's the Leafs, but again, not a very confidence-inducing show we did here today. No, it was not. I'll take the Nylander shot prop, by the way. I think he's cleared in 4 straight since coming back. Well, I guess coming back. He's hurt. Lower body injury. Anyways, okay, that's going to do it for today. Rosie, great stuff. I believe you're back Monday, right? I don't know. What day is it? Yeah, Monday. I'll be here on Monday. Let's do Monday. You got a good one Monday. Brian Burke. Do you think he'll use his infamous quote, last time I checked, only one team wins the Stanley Cup. I checked with the league. I saw the quote yesterday. Burke already used it, but he's going to use it again on Monday. Guaranteed. Yeah, we'll see. He was on Merrick's The Sheet yesterday before I popped on there. Always fun to talk to him. So yeah, looking forward to that. I wonder. Yeah, we're gonna ask him. If you're the GM, and some people will say, well, he already had it and didn't get her done, didn't know how to do it. But it's a tough market, man. Tough swings to be made. It'll be interesting to see what he thinks this team should do. As I just don't see a clear and like. There's not a path that's like, oh yeah, baby, we're on the right way. This is what we do. We just need to do this, and we're on board. We're on the train track side. There's a multitude of problems, and there's not a lot of good, easy ways to fix them, if you ask me. So not to be too negative, but God damn it, this season has been tough.
It's tough times when Zach Phillips, known for his 4-hour shows, just packs his shit up last night and says, you know what, that's going to do it after an hour and 41 minutes. I don't know what's going on with Zach right now, but that tells you everything you need to know, that Zach only does a 1 hour and 41 minute post-game show. He is in one, we're in one, but we're in this together. I like that, X. So good show, boys. We suffer together. That should be our new phrase. Premature rebaculation due to copyright. It's finished. I don't know if you've heard, Rosie. I guess somebody else created it, so we can't say it anymore. But maybe that's what we go with. We suffer together. We suffer together.
We suffer together. Did someone copyright the weebaculation?
I don't know. Talk to Vic, man. Producer Vic's got friends all over the industry, and people are whining and complaining. They watch this show, they complain. Such is life. Anyways, coming up tomorrow, Dave Pagnotta, the fourth period, is going to be alongside his co-host, and we're going back down the well from the playoff series last spring, the Battle of Ontario on Saturday night. Travis Green, the head coach of the Ottawa Senators, is going to drop by tomorrow. So looking forward to touching base with Greeny.
Was that Sid yesterday that said who do you think's in a better position, the Leafs or the Sens? And I'm kind of like,
I was like, Ottawa.
I don't know. If Allmark was Allmark, they'd be in a better spot. It's kind of surprising they've made that move and thinking they got their star and their problems fixed. And goalies are funny, man. Anyways, we'll look forward to that game tonight. Interested to see what these guys have. I haven't really seen the Panthers in a while. They didn't play yesterday. I thought they did. Kind of potential to be another ugly one. We'll see, man. Battle of almost the basement, which is very, very surprising to say in the Atlantic this year, but it is what it is.
I want an official statement from producer Vic tomorrow on premature rebaculation, the timestamp, the copyright, when it was first utilized. We want to get to the bottom of this, because Zach was really excited.
Zach said that last year at some point in time. I think this is bullshit. Let's see the paperwork on that, boys.
Zach was excited, folks. I'll tell you, behind the scenes, we were cooking these amazing T-shirts, and they're going to end up in a third world country somewhere, and some kid's going to be wearing it, and he's going to be proud to be wearing it. I have no clue what the fuck he's wearing. Anyways, that's going to do it. Speaking of Zach, he's in the chat right now. We love you. I believe the Sheet's on the road in Brantford, so looking forward to today's episode. Zach's going to have the Leafs Nation After Dark following this game against the Panthers as well. Chat was on fire today. We love you guys. At the Leafs Nation 401, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Leafs Morning Take, wherever you find your podcast. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review, and don't forget to visit theleafsnation.com. Thank you to producer Vic. For Jay Rosehill, I'm Nick Alberga. We'll talk tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long-form interviews. We got clips. We got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.